All right, so we had talked about how the lymphatic system has two functions. One is to collect that tissue fluid, and number two, using those same channels, those ducts and capillaries and these wide places in the system called lymph nodes, they're going to use this pathway that pathogens will find their way into to watch for and defend against pathogens. And so when we talk about the second function of the lymphatic system, and we say it's going to be surveillance and defense. So you're watching for surveillance is watching for problems, and defense is how you deal with them. So before we get into that, when we talk about this sort of overriding function, this second function um, for the immune system, for the lymphatic system, the immune portion of the lymphatic system, we can talk about two different kinds of defenses. We can talk about innate defenses, and then we can talk about adaptive defenses. The innate defenses, there's a lot of different ways that we do with it, but if you look at them and you think about them, what you realize is that in many cases they're barriers, in almost all cases. So if you look at the third slide and you see the innate or non-specific defenses, I have a number of things written down there. Species resistance. In many cases, diseases cannot cross species. In the case of COVID-19, it actually jumped from one species or several species, actually, this anteater and the bat, and somehow made it into humans. But it's very hard. Most pathogens can't jump species. So there's this a barrier based on what you are, your species. Then we have elimination. That's not really a barrier, but like if you eat something and you get diarrhea, it passes out of you very quickly, or you vomit, it passes out of you very quickly. This is elimination. Walling off, that's a barrier. When we talk about inflammation, we'll talk about basophils some more, which we mentioned in the last chapter, causing inflammation. That's one of these innate defenses. It's walling it off, isolating it so that we keep it contained. Mechanical barriers, your skin is a really great mechanical barrier. Tears in your eye, sweat on your body, rinses this stuff away, rinses potential pathogens away. Chemical barriers, your stomach. You eat something that is a potential pathogen, it goes from your mouth, your esophagus, into your stomach. Your stomach has pH of 2. That's very acidic. It will kill most pathogens. Then we have a type of immune system cell called a natural killer cell. It just looks, anything that doesn't belong, it kills it. It's not specific for a specific type of pathogen. It just kills anything that that isn't you, actually. The other type of defense is what we call adaptive defense, and this is a specific defense. It's a defense against a particular pathogen, and you activate your defensive mechanisms that can target that particular pathogen. And so when we talk about adaptive defenses, these are the things that will go after something in particular and that provide us with immunity. When you get that flu shot that prevents you from catching flu later on, your body has activated components of the adaptive defense system to watch for and be ready for flu. All of this, in order to do this, have an adaptive defense, you have to be able to recognize something that isn't you. And how do you do that? You do it through something called self versus non-self. And we had talked about how there are cell surface markers markers on your cell that identify your cells as you. And so your body, your adaptive defenses, they're walking around or moving around in your body looking for things that don't belong, and they say, oh yeah, this is me, that's me. Non-self. So self, non-self. And the immune system will initiate an immune response against that particular pathogen.